Hey guys, this is Camfrey15. I am back at it with another video for you guys, and I'm back here with some more CW DC TV shows of The Flash. And we are back with season 7, episode 2, in which I thought was a good episode, a really fun, great episode. I enjoyed it a lot. And then that freaking ending to the episode, man, that was crazy. That was insane, and I'm still like blown away by that. Anyways, let's get into this episode, and let's talk about it. Now. Obviously, the episode starts off mostly dealing after the fallout of what happened to Nash Wells. Obviously, they put his little, I guess you can say his, I guess you can say his little package things. I don't know what you call that. Call those things on essentially a display where they have like other honorary members of Team Flash who valiantly sacrificed their lives for a cause and stuff like that. Like you saw, I know you saw Nora West Allen's costume. You saw Jesse Quick's costume. I believe you saw the one Heat guy. I forgot his name from season 1 and season 2. That whole thing. So that was pretty cool. You have Barry and Joe have a talk about essentially, you know, having villains not change his heart and everything and stuff like that. Now, Allegra gets a message actually from Iris because we all saw from last week what was that message supposed to be sent, and it was not only sent to Captain Singh and Camilla, but it was also sent to Allegra, which alerted them to be like, okay, they're meeting at this time and stuff like that. Now they have a portal to connect to the Mirrorverse. They just have to find out the whole things. And essentially, what we see here is, funny enough, what I thought, which if you watch an anime called One Piece, there's a character that can essentially see the future, like a few seconds into the future. And I literally thought that was Barry was doing, and it was kind of what he was somewhat doing, but just a little bit better. Essentially, we see that he's got speed thinking, and it's because the artificial speed force gave him that sort of ability, which essentially makes his mind think faster. So, as Cisco's trying to run down all these things, Barry would see it and then essentially run it through. What we later see is that there's essentially a repercussion for that, and it essentially affected his mind to the point he acted like a damn robot, where his mind just went into the best possibility to do things and stuff like that. Now we come over to the mirror world. Iris finds Camilla, and Camilla says that she couldn't find Scene, but then they eventually go freaking make sure to, find him and set up and do stuff so that we see what happens later on in the episode. Anyways, what happens is we see that Eva raids a black whole little place to get more things from Joseph Carver. The Flash is there. They got the tachyon device on, and what they need to do is get the particles from Eva so they can be able to be able to enter into the Mirrorverse and be able to pull Iris and the others out. Thing is, okay, everything works. Killer Frost makes a return in this episode. She's doing it to stall. They eventually get the particles, and when it looks like Killer Frost is in need, need a help, Barry kind of just stands there and does nothing, and Killer Frost takes front of the attack. And that's what shocks Cisco, which again leads us to show what Barry goes on this entire episode, where he starts to act like a robot and I guess plays by the possibilities. Essentially, he makes an antidote for Killer Frost to reawaken, yada yada yada, and then that's when we see that Cisco's like, "Dude, are you okay? You sound like you don't care, like you don't have a heart." Again, and essentially, this entire episode for the Barry, plot line here, was the fact that essentially he's doing all these possibilities, all these things because he's got the speed thinking going crazy. He's essentially getting on top of fast and doing this. Like one of the aspects that could have repercussions, especially going to next week, is the fact that he released the details by hacking into the computer about what happened to Eva and stuff like that, where it made now the public knows that, okay, Eva's not who she says she is and stuff like that, which again could have repercussions, especially what we see, next week or the next episode preview, because it seems like Eve is being desperate now. So That's the whole thing. And I just took it as a way that this Barry having the speed thing, it was essentially taking away the humanity with him. Like he wasn't making like he was making decisions, but not decisions because of the person who he is. He was making decisions because of the best possibility outcome. Like there was, a thing where he called, I think the people, the priority. He called like Iris and the others like the keys, and Cisco's like they're our friends, and he's like, yeah, that's one and the same. And I'm like, what the hell is going on with my boy Barry? And stuff like that. Which, it's freaking crazy because we get at the end of the episode, we get Flash versus Team Flash, which was freaking insane. That was fun as hell. And then you have freaking Kate, you have Killer Frost take Velocity X, and she essentially becomes a speedster for a short period of time. And I tell you, man, that scene was dope. I was literally marking out, I was losing it. And just to see her use the speed with her ice powers, I was like, bro, this is crazy freaking good. One of the best things the Flash has done. I legit enjoyed every second of it. I know everybody was probably losing their mind when they saw that. So, what happens is that when it looks like, obviously they cornered, Barry, and it looks like they're probably not, I'm guessing, lock him up and eventually take care of the artificial speed force, because if they did take the artificial speed force, I don't know why. My only question is this. You can say this is a plot hole, but my only question is, while Caitlin was chasing Barry around, why didn't Cisco get up and freaking take out the artificial speed force little thing in the whole thing? I know they're going super fast and everything, but it's like, I'm sure you had enough time to be able to point your gun, shoot it at the dang thing, and disable him. I don't know why they didn't do it, but they made it tougher. And when it looked like everything, and essentially kind of screwed them all over in the end game. So what happens is it looks like they got very cornered, but then the one ball thing that they introduced earlier into the episode, kind of takes them all out and stuff like that. Essentially, what we also do find out is the reason in this whole thing is the reason why they have to stop him, is because we find out that essentially, in order to pull out our friends from the Mirrorverse, they essentially have to make a choice. The choice is this, because I forgot the dark matter particles or something like that. I forgot what it was. The thing is, Camilla and Captain Singh haven't been in the mirror, in Mirrorland for freaking long, unlike Iris. And essentially, the thing is, they can either pull out Singh and Camilla, or they can only pull out Iris because Iris has too much particles and essentially use up everything they have to pull her out of there. So essentially what we see is Barry hacks into the Mirrorverse. He sees Iris, and this is still Barry under the influence of the artificial speed force. He essentially forces Iris to come back. She comes back in forcefully. She's trying not to do it because she knows, like, what the heck's going on. She knows that, essentially it's putting people at the risk of jeopardy, Camilla and Singh. So that's what happens. And essentially, she gets pulled in. She starts like, sorry guys, my bad. She starts convulsing, and she's like looking like she's in a seizure like state or something like that, like she's moving and stuff like that. Barry then finally snaps out of it like it's some other odd personality, and then he finds out what he did was wrong. He destroys the artificial speed force thing, but at the cost, it seems like he might potentially lose his speed again. So that's the whole thing. It's like, okay, so the artificial speed force, it gives him his speed, but it what? Makes him lose his humanity, essentially, and stuff like that. And he said, and it's funny because he brought up the point to Cisco, like, using Iris, that's the best way we can freaking defeat Eva. And I'm like, yeah, this guy ain't thinking straight and stuff like that. He eventually passes out because, I'm guessing the Speed Force attacks him or something like that. A blue lightning hits him in some sort of way. Anyways, what we see is Eva essentially looks like she's going on the haywire, the mirror one, or the fake one. We see that she eventually takes in this Central City police person. Yeah. And anyways, the shocking thing about the episode ending was the fact that we cut back to the one scene we saw in like the earlier season. I think it was season one, I believe, when Eobard Thawne essentially took the life force of Earth, or of the current or Earth One at the time's Harrison Wells, essentially took his life essence to make him look like Harrison Wells. We find out in the end of the episode, for some reason, these particles start forming again, and lo and behold, the original Harrison Wells is back alive. So, man, talk about all the wells being gone, because now they just freaking got another wells now. And now some people can say, oh, that's just a convenient plot line that they just freaking had got Wells back within a week later after Wells died. Excuse me. It's still a crazy cliffhanger. I wish it was kind of held off for a while, to be honest. I wish it was like maybe they gave it a few more weeks, like till maybe episode 5, but hey, yeah, it's fun. It's still shocking. So obviously, their Team Flash is going to encounter this Wells and then be shocked out of their minds, and then be like, "I thought all Wells were dead," and stuff like that. And then maybe Wells would maybe Harrison Wells would tell him, "Where's the guy that freaking did this to me?" and stuff like that. And then they'll probably find out that was Eobard Thawne, and that's when they're going to realize that's especially Caitlin and Cisco. They're definitely going to realize you're Harrison Wells, are Harrison Wells. And he's gonna be like, what? What do you mean by that? Which is gonna be a very nice, thing to see. I think next week is what is the episode that was supposed to be the season 6 finale. Looks pretty hectic, I will say that. But yeah, another good episode for the Flash, and I very much enjoyed this episode. But other than that, I'm gonna go first. So hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day. Until then, guys. If you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's episode of The Flash, as well as hit the subscribe button to get more CW DC TV show content like Superman and Lois and Batwoman, and eventually, in a few weeks, the returning Supergirl in its final season. Anyways, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Hopefully, you guys have a great rest of your day or night when you're checking out this video. Until then, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay safe out there. Peace.